It's Ash from Super Videos back for another live stream discussion. This one's going to be a discussion for the premiere of Season 9 of The Walking Dead 901, which is going to air tomorrow night, Sunday night on AMC. It's going to be called A New Beginning, and this is basically somewhat of a predictions video, somewhat of a discussion video, and just a general chat with you guys about what we could expect in Season 9 and for the premiere specifically. So there's really nothing that I do want to discuss. It's just more or less a chat with you guys about the premiere. I'm very excited for the premiere. I'm sure many of you are as well, but I will be kind of looking at the actual description that I have for the episode and making a few predictions here and there about what we might end up seeing in the premiere, but generally it's just going to be a chat with you guys about the premiere. So, of course, you guys can put your comments and questions or whatever in the chat, and I will be looking at those as well. So, Unlimited Alex said, "Sup, man? What's up? How are you? Thank you for joining. I'm glad you could join." Epic Zombie Killer. Hey Ash, how excited for the premiere are you tomorrow? I'm super excited. I'm definitely super excited as well. I hope we, from all the things that I've heard for the premiere, for those of the people that I've watched, it's going to be great. I've seen some great positive comments and feedback from everyone who's seen it, and it gets me excited, and I hope it's going to be a great premiere. I have faith, and I hope that the rest of the season will be as good as the premiere, assuming the premiere is going to be a great episode. But just going into, let me actually just read the description for 901. So, A New Beginning, we have on AMC, the description is Rick and his group make a rescue run into Washington, D.C. to search for artifacts. They will need to build the civilization he and Carl envisioned. So, of course, we know they're going to go to D.C. That's part of the description. And, they're looking for artifacts like we've talked about before in order to grow the communities, in order to have more supplies, more resources. But I think aside from their trip to D.C., more or less what we might potentially see is them explaining a little bit, not explaining, but covering what happened during the break that they had, during the, I think, 1 year break that they had, going into the new beginning, what type of communities have been popping up, or what's been being built, or how the communities have been building in that time. We're going to be introduced to a lot of new characters, and, all of that is going to take a bit of time, so it makes sense for this episode to be an extended episode, which it is. But other than that, I think we're more or less going to also see the tensions growing at the sanctuary, because we do know they go to the sanctuary and they do find the wall that says, "We are still Negan," or "Savior, save us, we are still Negan." So we know that's going to be popping up as well. So a bit of tension in that regard, and maybe some internal struggles as well, or tensions between Maggie, Rick, and Daryl. We might see that, some disagreements. And I'm most likely thinking the episode's going to end with something along the lines of leading up to the next episode, which I think is called The Bridge, which I think it's pretty much related to how the bridge is going to collapse. They're going to have to rebuild it. They set up camp, and things really kind of pop off from there, because it's most likely that Rick's death or his disappearance is very much close to this story arc that we have at the bridge. But yeah, and also Hilltop. We're going to see some pretty interesting stuff at the Hilltop, I think, with Maggie and Gregory. I don't want to give it away for those of you that don't know about the comics, but I'm very excited for that as well. And we might even see a few deaths. Again, not big deaths, but maybe one somewhat big death, and maybe two or just one other small deaths. Animated Alex. Or did I skip one? No, I didn't skip anything. Animated Alex. I hope Morgan goes back to Walking Dead. That's more like, or not very likely at this point. I think Morgan is going to stay in Fear for now. For the Season 5 at least. He might come back for Season 6 or after Season 5 when we get into Season 6 of Fear, and when we get into Season 10 of The Walking Dead. But right now, I don't think that's going to happen. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm thinking we'll see a minor death in the episode tomorrow. I think, yeah, one minor death and one somewhat big death. Not major, but big death. Animated Alex next season. Oh, okay. So you mean will Morgan come back next season? It's likely, but again, if they don't want to have Morgan leave Fear after really making Morgan be the lead at Fear the Walking Dead, then they're not gonna have him leave anytime, or not anytime soon, at least. Epic Zombie Killer is probably gonna be Gregory, most likely, and you're talking about the minor death. I wouldn't say that's a minor death. I agree with you, but I don't think that's a minor death. That would be the somewhat major death that I talked about. I think we'll see another minor death aside from that. And we did see that in the sneak peek. We did see someone get bit, so that's probably the death. We might see a little bit more as well. We might see one more, but I don't think we're going to see any big deaths. Animated Alex, I can't wait to catch up with our characters. Same here, I can't wait. I'm also very interested in Negan's story. We will definitely see a few scenes, if anything, or at least with Negan as well. Maybe a few scenes with Negan and Rick. Maybe a few scenes with Negan and Michonne. But Negan is probably going to be some parts of the episode as well. And I'm definitely interested to see what they do with Negan as well. Epic Zombie Killer, yeah. I'm thinking the bridge collapsing is caused by the whispers. It could be. I mean, that doesn't have to be the case. It could just be a kind of natural phenomenon. The thing that happens. You know, there's a flood, the bridge collapses. They don't have to connect it to the whispers. I think it's better for them to leave that be somewhat of a kind of natural thing. You know, a flood or something along those lines, and not connect it to any threat at this point. So, yeah, I think it's possible, but I hope that they just keep it as the collapsing of the bridge is connected to a flood or something of that sort. And just running through all of the sneak peeks that we got so far. So first we got we got the first 4 minutes as well. So that was one thing where we have basically that specific scene with Michonne, Rick, and Judith. They're drawing, or Judith is doing a painting, and they have an interesting conversation. I've done a video on that, but they have an interesting conversation there. Then they kind of go to a field and watch the birds, and we have a scene at the sanctuary with them setting up the walker and Daryl kind of coming and shooting the walker. You know, so we do see that. That's connected to, again, the sanctuary and, of course, the Rick stuff. But then we have another sneak peek with the sanctuary where they're coming back from their mission, most likely, and they see the wall with the written message on it and everything. So that's another sneak peek. There was another sneak peek where they're trying to get the artifacts down from above in the building, in the museum, most likely in DC. So that's another sneak peek that's related to the mission to DC. Then there was another sneak peek that was released where they were killing walkers and someone got bit, a minor character. So that was another sneak peek. And that's basically, I think, all of the sneak peeks and the first 4 minutes. So based on everything we see, most likely what we're going to see in this episode is something along the lines of a big focus on the mission, a focus on kind of Rick a little bit, and having this season start with Rick, you know what I mean? And having somewhat of a concentration on Rick's character, because we do know that this is going to be his last season. And we might see other characters kind of stepping up a little bit, like Michonne, like Daryl. So we might see that as well. Of course, we'll see Carol and Ezekiel being together, so that's going to be good. And other than that, the stuff with the sanctuary is going to be also part of it. We will see parts with Negan in the cell. So putting all of that together along with introducing the new characters, I feel like that's pretty much going to be everything that's going to be covered in the premiere. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm really excited for Magna. I loved her in the comics. Yeah, definitely. And the actor that the actress that they cast for Magna is also a cool actress. Like, they look alike, and I'm very interested to see what they do with that character. And you know, that whole group that's going to be coming up. I don't think that's going to happen in the premiere. I doubt it. But definitely something to look forward to in Season 9 in general. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm really excited for Magna. Oh, I just read that. Animated Alex, I hope Rick uses his new weapon more. I think he will use it, but I don't think it's going to be his main weapon. You know, he might use it here and there, but I think he's still going to use his axe and his cold python. Animated Alex, before he goes. Oh, you're saying before he goes. He will definitely use it at least once, because we do see it in the first 4 minutes. So, he's going to use it at least once. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, how do you see the premiere opening going? We did see the first 4 minutes. In the opening, for the rest of it, I think we might see Daryl and the other guy at the sanctuary going head to head a little bit. And other than that, I don't think we'll see anything more special in the opening, but that'll be pretty much it. Epic Zombie Killer, what will be, or the openings be like? We saw the first 4 minutes, and I think that's the majority of the opening, but if there's anything more, then can't really predict. There's no way I can predict what we're going to see, but I think it's going to give us a feel that this is a new beginning, that everything is growing, and yet there's still threats around the corner. Maybe from external threats, maybe tension between the group members, maybe tension from the saviors, things like that. Animated Alex, do you think Season 9 will some hunt or humor moments like here Season 4 did? I think there might be some humorous or funny moments here and there, but I don't think there will be a lot of that. I think they'll use that a little bit because, you know, it's a lighter season, but I don't think it's going to be a focus. Or they're going to do a lot with that. Epic Zombie Killer, it's awesome how they made Rick look like Season 1 Rick, especially with the image on your thumbnail. That was done on purpose. Yeah, definitely. And that was done on purpose because this is Rick's last season. So they wanted this to feel like a Season 1 kind of thing. So it definitely was done on purpose. And speaking of which, let me actually share something else with you guys as well. If you remember, a couple weeks back, I did share the kind of poll that I had for The Walking Dead Season 9, and the poll was, how will Rick die in Season 9? And there were only 10 participants. Again, if you're interested to join or to participate in that poll, the link should be in the description. But 10 people have participated so far, and from the 10 people, 5 of the people think that Rick is going to die from being stabbed. 2 people think he's going to commit suicide after being bit. 1% thinks that he's going to be put down by someone after, put down by someone after being bit, and 2 people think he's not going to die and he's going to come back. Again, I want to hope, or I wish that was the case, but the more I think about it and the more news comes out, it's most likely that he's just going to die. But if I were to make a prediction, I think, you know, he would most likely either be stabbed and just die that way, or he's going to be bit and has to be put down by someone. But that's basically what you guys think. Again, there's a lot of people divided on this, and you know, I really, really hope that they end his story the right way. I really do. Because if they don't, then that's going to not only put a huge gap in, or there's going to be a missed opportunity, but also they're going to ruin the ending of his story, really. So I hope that they have something special planned for him. I can't wait for the episode. On one hand, I don't want to see it because I don't want to see Rick die or go away. But on the other hand, I do want to see how they end this story. Epic Zombie Killer, one special thing about The Walking Dead is it's a journey. We've got to see Rick change and develop and transform and also suffer a lot of losses. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the key things with Walking Dead specifically. And Rick's character. So yeah. But other than that, what do you guys think about not only the premiere, but this whole season in general? Do you think the majority of this season it's going to be, introducing the new beginning, having Rick's send off, and introducing the new threats, and maybe a bit more with the new threat or the villains? Or do you think that they're gonna bring in and the helicopter story arc as well as the mission to DC and everything? But do you think that we're gonna see any kind of new story or non-comic storylines in season 9? Or do you think that they're going to stick with the comics pretty much and not have anything that's outside of what was done in the comic book? Honestly, I think they have enough things already to kind of work on based on what we've discussed, so they don't need to introduce anything new, but they could have more kind of TV show only or standalone TV show story arcs coming up. Animated Alex, Rick needs that proper ending. He needs a pretty good ending. Yeah, he needs the appropriate send off and one that matches and kind of a deserving kind of send off. You know what I mean? Epic Zombie Killer. Not only Rick, all the remaining season 1 survivors have been through a lot. Yeah, definitely. Rick, Daryl, Carol, all of them. Animated Alex, I think it's going to be good based off what they are advertising. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this in my other live stream that I did. I think it was last night's Q&A. I said, everything we've gotten so far for Season 9, advertisement-wise, the posters, the teasers, the trailers, the opening credits, everything. It's been great. The only negative about this season is them revealing Rick is going to basically go away or die. That's going to be his last season. And the fact that this is going to be Rick's last season. So these two things are the only negative things that I have for Season 9 based on everything that we've got for advertisement for the season. So, yeah, I mean, I can't get more excited for Season 9. I think they've played their card right, giving us everything that we need for Season 9. I do have a bit of problem with the trailer and the way they but teased the Whispers, because I feel like that would have been done better if it was a shock. If it was something that they didn't make so clearly apparent in the actual trailer, you know what I mean? Obviously, they did it for comic fans because they knew it was coming, but I feel like they've ruined that part a little bit for non-comic readers. So they could have done something a bit different where they tease the Whispers in a way that's not the same so that they don't reveal that big reveal from the comics. But that's the only real nitpick or problem that I have with everything that they've advertised so far, other than the announcement about Rick, of course. Epic Zombie Killer, it's also sad how there are only 3 remaining Season 1 survivors. Yeah, definitely. Daryl, Carol, and let's see who else. Michonne is not Season 1, and Maggie's not Season 1, so I don't know who else. Let me think. Yeah, I can't think. Who's the Season 1 character other than Carol and Daryl? I feel like I'm missing someone, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. Epic Zombie Killer, it's also sad, it's also sad knowing that Morgan is the last character from the pilot that is alive. Oh yeah, Morgan, yeah. But I don't really consider Morgan a Season 1 character, one thing, and also I don't consider him in The Walking Dead right now. So you can't say Morgan is in Season 9, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, partially I do agree with you. He is still alive, but he's not really part of this story anymore. So yeah, the 3 that you said were Daryl, Carol, and Morgan. But again, Morgan was in the premiere, or the pilot, and he kind of went away and came back. So I don't know if you consider him a full season 1 survivor. You know what I mean? You could still consider him that. I get it. Yeah, you could go both ways with that. Epic Zombie Killer. Yeah, but he really is the last character from the pilot that is alive, especially if Rick dies. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the thing is, he's in fear right now, so it takes away a bit from that or that kind of argument that we have. It's true that he is the only survivor or one of the last survivors, but the fact is that if you think about it, he's in fear right now, so his story is not really relevant in The Walking Dead right now at this point. And the other thing that I'm really interested in is what they do in DC. I mean, the mission that they have. I hope it's not a brief thing. I really hope that they explore a big city like DC, especially DC, and just to get us to see, what is it like to be in that environment when we're this far into the apocalypse. You know what I mean? So I hope they explore that a bit more. I hope it's not just them riding around and just walking through the city, and if they don't, and them not actually showing anything much. And I hope that they visit more kind of buildings than the one museum that we see. I hope they have something more than that. I hope that it's not a brief mission to DC. Epic Zombie Killer. Well, yeah, but it's still part of the same universe, and you're referring to the Morgan thing. Yeah, I see what you mean. Animated Alex, I wonder if the helicopter is somehow related to Rick's departure. There's been a lot of theories and discussion about that. I don't think so. I think the helicopter is related to Jadis a lot, and that's it. And honestly, I think the helicopter is going to be related to Maggie's going away. I think, and this is a bold prediction, but I am predicting what we're going to see is the following. So, remember that character that came up in Season 8? They had this book to the future that they gave Maggie. I don't remember their name. At that point, I didn't think that they were from the Commonwealth, but now, and for those of you that don't know, Commonwealth is just a really big community from the comics, but right now I feel like that might be what they had in mind. So, that was before the actual, or that was Pamela from the comics before she built this community called the Commonwealth. And, that's it. And they're gone, and I think that they're going to come back, or they are sending, actually, I don't even know about that, because wasn't the helicopter still there when she was there? So I take back what I said. That doesn't really make sense. Forget the Commonwealth reference there, but I think the helicopter, or forget the Pamela reference, because I don't think that person that we saw is Pamela. It might be, but I don't think so. But going back to the helicopter, I think the helicopter is from the Commonwealth, and they've been sending people to check on this new big community or network of communities in this area. And I think that they are going to take Maggie away for whatever reason. And I think the big reunion from the comics at that point with the Commonwealth, in the Commonwealth it was basically Michonne who had that reunion, but I think that reunion will be given to Maggie in the show. I think that'll be Maggie at the Commonwealth reuniting with someone. I think. That's a bold prediction, and I might be very far off with this, but I think they might be doing something close to that. Animated Alex, it better not just be for a wagon. Yeah, I hope that they don't just go to DC to grab artifacts like the wagon and other stuff. Epic Zombie Killer, it's crazy to think we're 160 episodes into the Walking Dead's universe. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, with this season, it feels like a brand new start as well. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I hope this is going to be a great season. I really do. And for those of you that missed my announcement last night during the live stream Q&A, and also if you missed it in the last video that I posted, the announcement video, go there, go to the announcement video that I have, the channel news announcement video, to kind of see the changes that are coming for the channel. Some great changes coming, some great things being added to the channel. Excited for that, but definitely if you don't know about that, go check it out. And I hope you guys are all as excited about these changes as I am, but you're definitely going to see a lot more content on the channel. Epic Zombie Killer, in a way, Rick is the only one that started the Walking Dead universe. Or the one that started the Walking Dead universe. Yeah, that's true. Well, it all started with the comics, and in the comics, it all started with Rick. So that's very much a true fact. Or an accurate fact. And the other thing that I'm very excited and interested to see is what they're going to do with not only the new characters, like we said, that they're going to be bringing on, but the villains that they're going to be bringing on. So the three main villains, Beta, Alpha, and Lydia. I am very, very excited. Some great casting for those characters, but I'm very interested to see what they do with those three characters. I hope they give Alpha a kind of bigger story than she had in the comics, and same goes with Lydia. And I hope, or I don't even know how they're gonna do the Lydia story because Carl is not around. But I'm very excited to see what they do with these trio of kind of not villains necessarily, because Lydia is not the villain, but the trio of new characters from this new community that we're going to see. Epic Zombie Killer, also in a way, the comics are doing better than the show right now. Yeah, that's true, but Season 9, I think we may see a shift in that opinion. Ken the God Gaming, sorry I'm late. No worries, glad you could join us live. I think we're seeing more people join the chat now or the live stream now, which is great. But this is not necessarily a Q&A video, but it's not a Q&A video, so you can ask questions about anything, but specifically we're really looking at the first episode, the premiere 901, and making some predictions and discussing the whole the whole episode and what we're going to see in the episode. Or what we think we're going to see in the episode. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A, Ryan Hurst is a perfect casting. He looks just like Beta from the comics. He is the best casting, I think. I think one of the great things about Walking Dead is the casting person. The casting person, or whoever it is, I don't even know if it's a he or a she. I think it's a she. But the casting person is just great. Casting for Rick has been phenomenal. Andrew Lincoln's killing it as Rick, or has been doing a phenomenal job as Rick Grimes. The actress that they have for Michonne, for Maggie, for all the characters that we've seen were absolutely great. The actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan, or the casting for Negan has been great. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is killing it as Negan. The casting for Beta, Ryan Hurst, is great. For Alpha, yeah, the casting for Beta, Ryan Hurst, is great. I don't even think I said that right. Anyway, Alpha's casting is great. Lydia's casting is great. So the casting is just great in this show. I mean, Walking Dead, one of the key things that they're doing a consistently good job at is the casting. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, how big do you see the Oceanside? How big of a role will they play this season? Not big. I think the only character that we will see from the Oceanside play a somewhat, not major, but somewhat of a part in this season is Cindy. That's the only thing. I don't think we'll ever go back to the Oceanside this season. If we do, it'll be brief. We're not going to see any more concentrated episodes at the Oceanside like we've seen in the past. I think they've learned their lesson. Or I hope they've learned their lesson. Speaking of which, I think they also released some character descriptions for Season 9 as well. I wanted to do a video on this a while back, but I just didn't get a chance to do that. But, you know, we might actually go through them right now. Let's actually do that, because this is a discussion video, so yeah, I think it's good to do that. Let's do that. I'll be bringing up the AMC site and the character descriptions. Again, put your questions and comments in the description or in the chat. I'll be checking that out as well. But let me just bring on the site right now for you guys, and then we'll kind of go from there. And I'll read through the descriptions and everything. Alright, so there we go, and I'm just going to go here. Hopefully that doesn't block anything. No, everything is good. So first up, we have a kind of bio on Rick. So let's read that. Epic Zombie Killer, hey Ash, do you think they'll show the hilltop a lot in this premiere? I think so. I think they're going to focus on the hilltop a little bit more than what we're used to, mainly because of, the story that they're going to be bringing, or not the story, but the kind of parts with Maggie at the hilltop and what we're going to potentially, or the big death that we're going to potentially see in the premiere. So I do think we're going to see the hilltop more than we have been so far, but I don't think it's going to be a big focus. But yeah, I think going back to your question, yeah, we'll see the hilltop a lot more in the premiere than we've seen before. But looking at Rick's biography or description, on AMC says, at the end of last season, Rick unexpectedly let Negan live, and he stands by this decision in the name of his son. His goal is not simply to survive, it's to build the future Carl envisioned for this post-apocalyptic world. He is determined to see this through, but he's no longer the only voice of leadership, and not everyone agrees on the path forward. The war may be over, but the struggle for peace is just beginning. So that goes back to our discussion about the tension, not only internally, but externally as well, between Negan, or between the Saviors and Rick and the other survivors, and also, between the other kind of leaders or big characters like Daryl, like Maggie. disagreeing, of course, with Rick's decision. We saw that start or gets opened, that story arc, in the finale of season 8. So that's basically what they're kind of going off with here. But again, they're talking about how this is all for Carl. Again, I don't want to get into it, but they could have done that a lot better. But yeah, they are highlighting that everything that's been leading up to this in terms of Negan's story is related to Carl. And I guess that makes sense, but I feel they could have done a better job at following through with Negan's story and not having Carl die. Because, of course, with Carl's death comes a lot of more changes that they need to do. Even with Rick's death, of course, or Rick going away, it's going to be the same thing. So, yeah, but going to the description, it's basically just highlighting what we've kind of talked about before with Rick's story. Going into Daryl's biography or story, it says, one thing certain about Daryl is he is true to this world. He made a promise to Maggie at the end of last season, a promise he intends to keep. Daryl is skeptical of Rick's belief that peace between the communities is sustainable. He's trying to help Rick for the sake of their future, but their differing philosophies is only widening the rift in their brotherhood. So yeah, that goes back to the tension between Daryl and Rick and the decision to let Negan live. So that's pretty much related to the discussion that we already had. Going into Carol's biography, let me just read a few questions here. Maxis63 says, Hi, how are you? Glad you could join. Epic Zombie Killer, I feel they're putting more focus on the Hilltop in the show compared to the comics. I feel the TV Hilltop is a bigger community than the comic version. Yeah, definitely agree. Definitely agree with that. Even though it's a smaller community, Hilltop in the comics is way bigger, but they're focusing on the Hilltop a bit more than the comic book. I agree with that. For Carol Pelletier, the biography says, with her heart on her sleeve and a weapon in her hand, Carol has found a new happiness but remains as resilient as ever. She believes in Rick's vision and is loyal to her group and extended family, even when they come down on opposite sides. At the same time, if anyone dares to threaten her or someone she loves, there will be hell to pay. That's a pretty accurate description of Carol in the last couple seasons. So nothing a lot more that we can gather from this. The only thing is that she's very much loyal to Rick. So where we have Daryl and Maggie having that connection or that close connection about loyalty, or as far as loyalty goes, Carol and Rick have that loyalty, which is very interesting. One thing is interesting because we have Carol in the middle there, or Daryl in the middle there, and then Carol here. Will Daryl go as far as go against Rick, even though even when Carol is loyal to Rick? You know what I mean? So that's interesting. I'm very interested to kind of have that play out and see if there's going to be any tension or disagreement between potentially Daryl and Carol. That's going to be interesting. I don't think anyone's ready for that. So that was Carol. Again, that's going to be interesting. Like I said, she's loyal to Rick. That's one thing we could get from that biography. Then going into Maggie. Life is good for Maggie. Time has passed. She gave birth to a happy and healthy baby boy. She's a natural at being a mom, just as she's a natural at leading the Hilltop. But even though her community is thriving, Negan continues to live in the shadows of her mind. Not shocking to know that Maggie still hasn't forgotten about Negan. Healing is a matter of time, but sometimes it's a matter of opportunity. I can't even pronounce that. Hippocrates? Something like that. Anyway, Maggie has been biding her time. Maybe that's supposed to be buying her time. Anyway, waiting for her decisions or waiting for opportunity. She's not asking permission or seeking approval for any of her decisions. She will do what she thinks is necessary without hesitation, regardless of the cost. I'm getting a lot of wink wink Hilltop related storylines here and potentially the big death that we're going to see in the premiere. For those of you that read the comics, you know exactly what I mean, but for non-comic readers, just wait for the premiere. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. But keep your eyes open for what Maggie does and the decisions she makes regarding the hilltop and a certain character. I don't want to say it because it'll ruin it. So yeah, they've already kind of showed us glimpses of that in the trailer. But yeah, I don't want to get into that much more because I'll give it away. But yeah, that's pretty much just emphasizing that Maggie is still out for blood. You know, she wants to do what she thinks is the right thing to do, and nothing stops her. And she still wants to get back, or wants to prove Rick wrong for letting Negan live. That's interesting. Going back to questions a bit. Epic zombie killer, so I'm glad Carol outlived her comic counterpart. Comic Carol was a weak character compared to the TV version. Comic Carol was not only a weak character, but she was a B-list, or not even B, a C-list type of character. In the show, she's like maybe a B or an A even type of character. A-lister type of character. Epic Zombie Killer, it's weird how they put Maggie Green and not Maggie Reed. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, they put Maggie Green. They should probably change that to Maggie Reed. That makes more sense. Michonne, let's see her story. I was just checking how long we are in the stream here. Michonne is leading Alexandria side by side with Rick. We kind of know that. While Rick is taking on practical and physical challenges necessary to make Carl's vision of the future a reality, Michonne focuses on the philosophical ideas or ideals by which all the communities may govern and prosper independently and as a whole. Both are important and both present fundamental challenges that catch them unprepared. When things take an unexpected turn, oh, that's interesting. That might be related to Rick's death or Rick disappearing. The tightrope she walks to ensure a lawful and unsafe future becomes even more precarious. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, yeah, Michonne's story is pretty much interesting because, as they say, Rick deals with the physical and practical challenges of bringing Carl's vision to life, but Michonne, I feel like it's not only the philosophical, but also the political aspect of it as well. I don't think Rick is going to be involved in that portion. I think that'll be pretty much Michonne. So that's going to be very interesting, and I'm also very interested to see the dynamic between Michonne and Negan. We see that sneak peek with them. That gets me very excited about not only Negan's story arc, but what they're kind of hinting at for Michonne in terms of, like I said, the political aspect of Michonne's kind of characteristics that they're bringing on, and the philosophical aspect of it. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. So we know Michonne is going to lead the Alexandria Safe Zone with Rick side by side. Going into Daryl Dixon. One thing certain about Daryl is he's true to his word. He made it. Oh, did I not read that? I think I just went back. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I went back a bit. We just read Michonne's. Tara. Do I really want to read Tara's? Yeah, let's read it. Never one to hide from a fight or a good joke in time of need, Tara is finding more strength and security in her own voice. She isn't afraid to stand up for what she believes in or what she believes is right, even if that puts her at odds with people she has always admired and respected. Oh, that's interesting. So it's some tension between Tara and some others. She's all too familiar with loss. That makes her appropriate or appreciate today and grateful at the thought of tomorrow, sharing it with those around her. Should they be all so lucky? Yeah, so obviously anything humorous that we're going to see, or most things humorous we're going to see in Season 9, it's going to come from Tara most likely. And that goes with what says here. Good joke. But yeah, that's... there's nothing really we can gather with that, with Tara's description there. But yeah, one thing we could get from that is maybe Tara's going to go head-to-head with someone that she admires or respects. Maybe Rick, maybe others, maybe Maggie. Epic Zombie Killer, I think Siddiq will be a major character this season. Yeah, I think he's become a series regular, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, definitely. Epic Zombie Killer, don't know why, but I see Tara dying this season. She's on death watch for me. Yeah, same here, same here. I did my death prediction video. I think she was on there. But yeah. Eugene Porter. Going into Eugene's story, Eugene is determined to make up for his past selfish actions, and he's slowly gaining back his group's lost trust. That makes sense, of course. And I think Eugene is going to be a big part of not only bringing Carl's vision to life with the new beginning and everything, but also he's going to be a key factor or a key player at the sanctuary. In this time of relative peace, that's interesting, relative peace. So that may go back to the internal struggles that we discussed. He's using his intelligence to bridge the communities together. This could be literally bridge the communities. You know, the bridge that they're going to be building or repairing, that's kind of a cool double meaning there. But with peace never long for this world, will Eugene stand up or cower down the next time his people are in danger? Wink, wink, whispers. So yeah, Eugene, that was pretty much what we already knew. I kind of emphasized what I thought was interesting in that description. Rosita Espinosa, or as Dwight says, Rosita. Let's see what her description is. Rosita is a soldier in civilian clothes. That's pretty accurate description. But with the war over, she finds herself exploring a semi-normal life full of potential and even love. Oh, even love. That's interesting. You know, I'm going to make a prediction here, and I'm going to say that they're going to bring the comic stuff to the show in Season 9 as far as Rosita's love story goes. Don't want to get into much more, but comic readers, you know who I mean, who I'm referring to. She's come around to trusting Eugene. Okay. I'm not going to say anything. Again, and she's invested in the communities she wants and works towards fully realizing the future Rick envisions. So yeah, pretty much nothing more to discuss about that. Again, that's the only thing that is interesting. Let's see who's next. Father Gabriel. Father Gabriel, I'm definitely interested in his story as well. In Season 9 specifically as well. Going into some questions again. Epic Zombie Killer, don't know why, but I see... Oh, I just read that. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm liking Eugene's new look this season. Yeah, he still has the mullet, but yeah. That's his signature, I guess. Epic Zombie Killer, Dwight better return this season. I think if he does, it's going to be closer to the end of the season. But I do think he's going to come back, probably. Gabriel Stokes, despite being blinded in one eye... There we go. Father Gabriel is seeing himself and his place in the world even more clearly than ever before. Once content living in self-imposed isolation, he's now pushing himself to explore new challenges and relationships. Ooh, relationships. That's interesting. And encourage others to do the same. And that doesn't have to be love relationships, but could be connections as well with other characters. And encouraging others to do the same. He finds navigating this new path may require taking a leap of faith he never could have imagined. More or less what we already know with Father Gabriel's story going into Season 9. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to, not only does he look absolutely epic in Season 9 with that hat and the one eye, but I'm definitely interested in Father Gabriel's story in Season 9 as well. See who's next. Aaron. Aaron had to learn how to re-navigate the world following Eric's death. I almost read that as Rick's death. So I almost kind of did the double take there. Excuse me. After facing another sudden tragedy. Ooh, that's interesting. After facing another sudden tragedy. That's interesting. He has to figure out how to re-navigate it all over again. Awa raising his daughter, Gracie. Oh, we all remember Gracie. As he tries to provide the best possible future for her. He discovers that Rick's commitment to unite the communities, while intention may be harder to achieve than the thought. One thing about Aaron, look at him. Look at him. He looks like Comic Rick. I'm just saying. He might be given some parts of Rick's comic storylines. Maybe minor things here and there. See who's next. Enid. Going to questions a bit. Animated Alex. Rosita looks sexy. I agree. Epic Zombie Killer. I feel that if these characters have bigger bios, even they'll be a bigger part in the season, and Rosita had a short bio, so I think she'll have a small role in season 9. Maybe. Epic Zombie Killer, hopefully Negan has a bio. I don't think he does. Last time I checked, he wasn't on there. I hope he does. I definitely do. It's a disappointment. I mean, why would you not put a bio for Negan? Enid. Enid is no longer just surviving somehow. That's clever. Just survive somehow. We all remember that. She's helping the communities work together or towards a better future. What's more, she's learning medicine from Siddiq. Oh, that's interesting. That's something we didn't know before. Well, on her way to becoming a doctor in her own right. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So she's replacing Olivia, or was it Olivia? No, it was, what was her name? The doctor at Alexandria. Yeah, she's replacing her. But she's at Hilltop, so she'll be a doctor there. When she finds herself facing a medical crisis head on. Uh-oh. That's interesting. Maybe Rick? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that could also be the new threat. She must rely on her skills, resolve, and compassion to keep the people she cares about alive. That's cool. That's pretty interesting. She had a much more interesting story or biography than I thought she would before clicking it. So that's pretty cool. Next is Jesus. Let's go to questions a bit. Dan Lee, Negan will get Mahu. I don't know what that means. Epic Zombie Killer, I think it's because he's going to be in a cell for the first half of the season and probably escape in the mid-season finale. Maybe. That's pretty accurate. But I think he could still have a bio. That doesn't mean he doesn't get a bio. Jesus. Let's go to Jesus. As Maggie's right-hand man at Hilltop. Oh, that's cool. Jesus is her voice of reason and understanding. Even if they don't always agree. Ooh, that's cool. So there's going to be some disagreement between Jesus and Maggie as well. Most likely this disagreement is going to be related to Rick and his decisions and his leadership. Because we did see that disagreement a little bit in the finale of Season 8 as well, when Maggie was talking to Jesus about, what she had in mind or her plan in the future. As Maggie's determination grows, so does his role at Hilltop. Following his own code of inclusiveness, Jesus leads by example. That's pretty cool. I hope they do something interesting with Jesus. I feel like he's been a disappointment of a comic character so far. I hope they do something more interesting with him in Season 9. Gregory, wink wink, we might see him go away. He's on my death list. Time has allowed Gregory, who's now towing the line at Hilltop and obediently following Maggie's lead. It will take a true test of his selfishness to convince those around him that he's not the man he used to be. So very short, which could mean that he has a very short story in Season 9. I think he's going to die in the premiere, honestly. Let's go to the next character. Animated Alex, wait, did I miss something? Epic Zombie Killer is funny how they gave Gregory a bio, yet he's dying tomorrow. Spoilers, Animated Alex. Yeah, I mean, that's most likely a spoiler, but we all had it coming. If we watch the trailer, if we know about the comics, even if we don't, if we kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together based on the trailer and the teasers, we know what's coming. Animated Alex, just kidding. Janine Razinovich, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I hope he doesn't. Gregory, I hope he does. I hope he does. He is absolutely my least favorite character in Season 9. Next up, we have Ezekiel, the king himself. Epic Zombie Killer, Ayman and Alex. It's Gregory. Who cares? I hate Gregory. LOL. Yeah, I think everyone hates Gregory. Janine might be the only one not hating Gregory. Or maybe that's related to something else. I don't even know. That comment that Janine made. Ezekiel remains king of the kingdom. Did the kingdom just got destroyed or something? Maybe they've rebuilt. Most likely they have. And a father to Henry. That's interesting. So Ezekiel and Henry. That's pretty cool. Following the events of the war, he is now revered just as much through his actions as a man as though his pomp and circumstance as a king. The kingdom is still struggling from the events of last season, but Ezekiel's eyes are on the sparrow, hoping for a prosperous and fair future for all communities. That's pretty cool. So the only thing is the Henry Ezekiel thing. I mean, we could probably guess that was what they had in mind, but, that's pretty cool. But I hope that they have Ezekiel's story be more grounded in reality and his character, because, his speeches have been getting a little bit out there in the last 2 seasons. But yeah, that's a pretty cool description of him. Next up, Anne. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Maybe a hilltop reference or a helicopter reference in there you could see. Let me go to the questions. I'm with Alex. I do hate him. Speaking of Gregory again, yeah, I think everyone does. Epic Zombie Killer, that's different than the comics. Comic Ezekiel didn't become a father to a kid in the comics. Yeah, that's true. They're remixing that just for the show. And despite her best efforts, Anne, formerly Jadis, finds that dismantling or assimilating, into her new life as an Alexandrian is more challenging than she'd hoped. She's trying her best to look forward, but fears it might be a matter of time before her past catches up with her. Her past catching up with her might be a reference to the helicopter. Maybe. We know that the helicopter and Jadis or Anne are connected somehow, so that could be it. Next up, we have Sadiq. That's pretty cool. And then we have Alden, and yeah, we do have Negan, so that's cool. Going into Sadiq. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm really liking Jadis as a character now. Yeah, I find her story 10 times more interesting than her story when she was Jadis. Sadiq, last season, Sadiq was the outsider that Carl brought in. This season, he's not only a respected community member, but also Rick and Michonne's close friend and confidant. Oh, that's pretty cool. He is teaching medicine to Enid. We got that in the Enid description as well. And others. Oh, Enid and others. That's cool. With the goal of spreading knowledgeable medical personnel throughout the various communities. That's cool. Sadiq is acutely aware that Carl sacrificed his life to bring him in, so it's important to him that he do his part in the keeping Carl's vision of the future alive. So yeah, that's a pretty cool description. The only thing is, again, that first part was pretty cool with he is Rick and Michonne's close friend and confidant. That's pretty cool. And also, he's teaching medicine to Enid and others. That's pretty cool. Next up, we have Alden. That's the savior, for those of you that don't remember him. He probably will have a relationship with Maggie. I've been against the idea, but the more I think of it, the more I see that they're probably doing that, even though I don't really like the idea, but he's probably replacing Dante from the comics. Alden, a fierce supporter of Maggie, not surprised. Alden is instrumental in the success of Hilltop. That's pretty cool. While he no longer considers himself a savior, he still looks out for the interest of those still living at the sanctuary, advocating for their safety and well-being. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a short description, but yeah, keep your eyes open for Alden and Nagi's story, because I think there will be a story there. Next, we have none other than Negan. That's cool. Let's go to his story. Negan. To many living at Alexandria, Negan is the monster in the basement. That's cool. I think, I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there, I think Maggie might actually, or not Maggie, Carol might actually use that reference. We know she's known to kind of scare kids, so she might scare some kids with saying, I'll send you to the monster in the basement. That would be cool. That's pretty much a Carol line. I'll send you in the monster to the basement, referring to Negan. I hope they do that. I really hope they do that. He misses Lucille. I'm not shocked, and is eager to see her again. I don't even know if Lucille is still alive. I think it was destroyed. A pathological manipulator, Negan subtly needles his rare visitors towards a desirable path in order to orchestrate his master plan, which is to escape, of course, holding his endgame close to his chest. So yeah, they are saying that, you know, Negan wants to escape, so that's in there. But yeah, Negan's story I'm definitely interested in. And the dynamic between Negan and Rick in the cell and Negan and Michonne. Also, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me bring back, what's going on? There we go. Let's go that. Let's take that away. Ooh, there we go. Going back to the questions now. We are an hour and 3 minutes in. This might be the longest live stream I've done. Anyway, I'll read a few questions and that'll probably be the end of the stream. We've had some good discussions. Animated Alex, or Epic Zombie Killer, I love Siddiq as well. Yeah, he's an interesting character. Animated Alex, I like Alden. Alden is a good savior. That's coming from Epic Zombie Killer. Yeah, Alden is, like I said, I think he's a replacement for Dante from the comics. Animated Alex, the man of the hour. Was that Negan? When I put up Negan, I think that was it. Epic Zombie Killer, she said that to Sam, which led to Sam dying by walkers. Yeah, but I think Carol is going to use that line. I hope she does. I'm going to send you to the monster in the basement, referring to Negan. That'll be cool. Like, that'll be a humorous scene. That's well placed if they do something like that. Alright, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the stream, so maybe 10 more minutes of rapid fire Q&A for you guys to ask questions or comments on anything, and then we'll kind of end the stream here. I really enjoyed this stream. It was a good stream. I really enjoyed it. You know, some great questions, some great comments by you guys. So yeah, we'll do 10 more minutes of rapid fire Q&A. Epic Zombie Killer, bye Ash, thanks for the fun live stream. I'll see you tomorrow for the reaction. Love you, Ash. Yeah, thank you for joining for tomorrow. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to watch the episode live or not, unfortunately. So I might put the reaction on Monday, but you will see a reaction. I will definitely do a reaction. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it Sunday night. But yeah, thank you for joining and asking questions and participating. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your support as well. Animated Alex, I'd love to see that Carol line happen. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. I doubt they'll do it, but if they do it, you know, I'll enjoy it. Alright, 5 more minutes, I guess, of rapid fire Q&A. Let me see, there's 5 people watching. Epic Zombie Killer, one more thing, I posted your stream on Facebook. Appreciate it. Appreciate the sharing. Yeah, appreciate that. For those of you that don't know, there's also a Facebook page for the channel. So any news, anything like that, and also heads up on live stream discussions that we have will be on the Facebook page. So go there and like and follow that as well. If you want to keep up to date about, you know, when we're putting out stuff. Epic Zombie Killer. Or I'm Animated Alex. I'm going to go. Bye, man. Bye, appreciate it. Appreciate you joining. Epic Zombie Killer, can I be a mod? I haven't really had to use any mods, but yeah, I could. I could add people as mods. More or less, these the mods will be for pretty much just live stuff, or maybe comments as well. Yeah, I could definitely add you as one. I'll put a note. I'll put a note and add you as a mod. But I don't think that there'll be a lot of kind of comments that would need to be removed. But yeah, and I know you've kind of, or I know you join all the live streams and you watch all the videos. That's why I'm putting you on. If it was just a random person, I probably wouldn't do that. So yeah, knowing that you know, you're active on the channel definitely goes a long way in this decision. Alright, 2 more minutes, and then it'll be the end of the stream here. I'm actually going to do that right now as we're talking, so I don't forget. Let me see. There we go. There we go, that's done. Didn't even need to go anywhere else. There we go, you're a mod now. Epic Zombie Killer, your channel is amazing, one of the best Walking Dead channels out there. Thank you, I really appreciate that. I appreciate your support and, you know, participating on, I think, all of the streams or live streams. I might be wrong, but I remember you distinctly. I know you've been on a lot of the live streams. Alright, that's pretty much going to be it for the live stream Q&A. I appreciate all of you guys asking questions. I'll give shout out to everyone because there wasn't a lot, I think. Epic Zombie Killer, definitely a shout out to you for participating and asking questions. Animated Alex, same thing. I think both of you have been asking a lot of the questions this stream, so I appreciate that. Damn Lee asked a couple questions, or just one question. Ken the God Gaming was there. Maxis 63. Who else? Janine Rusinovich. I hope I'm pronouncing that right again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So shout out to you guys for joining this stream and asking questions. I appreciate it. Epic Zombie Killer, bye Ash. I'll see you later. Love you, Ash. Thank you. I appreciate it. See you next time for another super video. I know someone asked me, I think it was Epic Zombie Killer, how I came up with that name. But yeah, at this point I can't change the channel name because I've been advertising it everywhere. But yeah, that's gonna be that's been my catchphrase at the end of the streams or the videos in general. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.